Hey guys, it's Ivory. Welcome to my channel. I know I look a little weird right now. It's gonna change very soon. Today I'll be doing both a first impressions as well as a wear test on the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. I did go ahead and pick up a sample at my Sephora. I suggest to anyone that is getting a luxury product, whether it's moisturizer to foundation, concealers, primers, and skincare, before you spend your money on it, get a sample if they are allowed to give you one, just because you don't know if you're gonna have an allergic reaction to something. Maybe it'll break you out, maybe it just doesn't last on you, and then you wasted all that money on a product that doesn't work for you. And then when you go to return it, the store cannot use it again because you already used the product. So that's lost money on their part, and it's also wasted time on your part because you got to go all the way back to return it. So it's another trip for you. So before you put your money into something, I suggest getting a sample, and then if it works, you go buy the full size, and if not, then at least you didn't spend money on it, and then you don't have to make another trip to return it. And that also saves them money because then they don't have a whole bottle of a product that they cannot resell to someone. For anyone that is new, I have both oily and acne prone skin, so a lot of my wear tests are geared towards people with similar skin types. I am looking for a foundation that keeps my oils at bay, as well as a medium to buildable coverage without it feeling too cakey or heavy on my face. I did go ahead and prime, as well as added a thin layer of translucent powder, so we're just gonna jump right into this. On one side, I'm going to be using a sponge. This is the Juno & Co sponge. I did do a review on this. I will put it up here in the suggested if you're interested. And then on this side, I'm going to use a brush to see if it makes a difference. On the brush side, I am using a Morphe M439 brush. Oh, this has a scent. It's like florally. I don't mind it too much, but I just wanted to take note of that because some people don't like scented makeup products. So if you're one of those people, then I don't think you're gonna like this. For anyone that's wondering, I got the shade Armor Ready, which looks like a pretty good match for me. I haven't done a wear test in a really long time because, well, for one, I am trying to not buy foundations. I currently have like 6 of them, and I want to use them up before I go and buy more. But I got this as a sample, so it's not like I spent money on it. And also, I don't wake up early enough to do a wear test. I like to do my wear test for like at least 10 hours, and I've been waking up really late, and then I start filming really lately, so that means I have to wear it for a long time and keep my makeup on really late into the night, which I don't want to do. I've just been having really bad sleeps lately, and I'm talking like I won't go to bed till maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. I have a feeling I know why I'm not able to sleep well. I have a lot on my mind, but also because I have a really hard time sleeping next to someone. When I first moved in with my husband, at the time he was my boyfriend, I had a really hard time adjusting to sleeping next to someone because for 20 years of my life, I had no one sleep next to me, but it was really hard to sleep next to someone. So I would just be tossing and turning, and I wasn't used to having someone warm next to me, and I get hot very easily. So I was very uncomfortable. So I remember I tossed and turned till midnight, 1 o'clock, and then I'd give up, and then I'd go to the couch. And my husband would be like, can you please try and adjust more, because I would like to sleep next to you. So I tried really hard, and there are nights where I sleep well, especially if I'm super tired, I'll just fall asleep. But lately I've been regressing back to sleeping alone. So I'll try and sleep next to him until like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, forget it. I was patient, and now I'm leaving because I cannot sleep. And then I'll go sleep on the couch, and I fall asleep right away. But yesterday I went to bed before him, so it was kind of like being alone. And on top of that, I took a sleeping pill so that I could sleep early, so that I could wake up to do a wear test. So I'm trying to fall asleep at a reasonable hour again. Okay, so this is one layer using both the sponge as well as the brush. One coat really did it. It is full coverage. It looks really nice. This smile line for some reason is really prominent. It always has been like that, and I can see it's sort of starting to crease already, which isn't uncommon. It's very faint, but we're just gonna have to see how badly it cracks as the day wears on. It doesn't look super heavy. It's not bunching where my acne is. It is not collecting in any weird spots. If you are worried about creasing in your smile lines, what I like to do is I just take a beauty sponge and I kind of rub the foundation away just so that there's less product, because if there's no product in the smile line, then there's no product to crease in the smile line. So it kind of just blends the foundation away so that there's not as much product inside them to begin with. I actually don't have a preferred side. I actually like how they look both with a sponge and a brush. As far as the smell, it's faint. I can still smell it just a little bit. We're gonna keep going and apply the rest of my face just to make sure that the products blend easily. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. You know what's really funny? You guys know I have kind of bad skin, but I get moments where my skin is actually doing okay, like it's simmering down and my skin is still red and discolored, but if you put foundation on, it looks pretty smooth. But for whatever reason, every single time I do a wear test, the night before, my brain is like, did someone say wear test? And then I break out like crazy. So every single time I do a wear test, it's like the day before my skin was actually doing pretty good, and then that very night a cluster of zits come. And this is the first time where I don't have as much acne, like my skin is actually like, okay, I'll leave you alone this time. But I do have 2 zits right here, and they're the most annoying kind because they're just bumps. Like there's no, I like to call it the egg, but there's no egg inside. It's just a red bump over my skin that looks super mountainous. I think if you angle it, you can see like there's a shadow because of how far it sticks out. Isn't life just grand? All right, and then using my Coty Airspun, I'm going to set my entire face. And while this is baking, I'm gonna go ahead and bronze up my face. I'm using the Benefit Hoola bronzer. Look how close I am to finishing this. I feel like it's looked like this for months now. We should get some type of bet going to see how long it'll take me to finish this. And the winner gets absolutely nothing. You just get to be right. And what woman doesn't like being right? I'm definitely that chick when it comes to fights. And I don't know how my husband puts up with me because I was the most annoying girlfriend when we first started dating. I would be the type of woman that he would be texting and he'd be like, what's wrong? And I would say, nothing. And he'd be like, okay. And you best believe that the next text that he gave after okay would be like this huge block of a paragraph. And it always started out with, I just think it's funny how, and I don't know what the rest is, but I would be that type of woman. I was so annoying. But when you're 17, you know, you're petty and you don't always know how to have a normal relationship. So that's the type of shit I would pull. For blush, I'm adding the Milani Luminoso. Okay, and then after the blush, I'm just gonna quickly carve out my cheekbones. And then while this is baking, I'm gonna go ahead and add some false lashes. So be right back. Okay, so my lashes are on and I did go ahead and throw on a lip. I didn't have an issue with any of the products gliding on my face. Everything blended out pretty nicely. Sometimes with foundations that are really bad, if I add bronzer or blush, it'll like disturb the foundation and it'll like rub off, but that didn't happen at all. I do not smell the foundation anymore. It pretty much faded away. I think the foundation looks really nice. I mean, a little bit goes a long way. It is full coverage with one coat. I'm very impressed. It's not cakey, it's not bunching, and it's not settling in any weird places. So far, I'm gonna say that I like it. So that is it for my first impressions. I have a couple errands to run, so I'm gonna be doing that, and I'll come back in a couple more hours to give you an update as to how it is wearing and how it looks. So I will see you in a little bit. Okay, so it is actually now the 9-hour mark. I was supposed to come in around 5 or 6, but I got really sidetracked with editing and I had a bunch of errands to do today. But don't worry, I'm still gonna update you one more time. I usually do 10-hour wear tests, but because this is a 9-hour check-in, I'm gonna try and push it to 11 to 12 instead. First of all, yes, I am somewhat shiny. Don't mind this area just because there is highlight there, so we're not gonna think about that. On the forehead, there's a little bit of glow, but I gotta say it held up really nicely. I always get a little bit of separation and settling in my smile line, only this one, and a little bit in my T-zone as well as in my nose. It has still happened. It's quite faint. It's not too bad, but there is a little bit of settling. In my T-zone, it looks a little bit worn, and same here on my chin. But everywhere else actually looks really good. It doesn't really feel heavy to me. It's not caking in weird areas. I mean, the camera is about at a distance where a normal person would be, and it's zoomed in, and I feel like it looks pretty good. Like it hasn't worn off on my acne. So for 9 hours, I'd say this is really nice. I do want to say that the fragrance that I smelled initially, it's completely gone. It doesn't linger. I know some people have complained that it's just way too potent. I do not mind smells, so I'm not super sensitive to them. But yeah, this is what my skin looks like so far. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna check in a couple more hours to give you a final update. All right, so it is officially the 12-hour mark. From what I can see in the viewfinder, I feel like I look pretty greasy. I have not touched up whatsoever. Earlier when I did a checkup, I said that there was some settling in my T-zone as well as in the cracks of my nose as well as my smile line. Not a lot has changed since then. It looks pretty much about the same. The coverage still looks really good. It's not bunching. I mean, it looks worn a little bit. It's definitely not as fresh as it looked when I first applied it. I can see some patchiness is starting to happen around my mouth, but like, can you tell? It's kind of hard to tell. You have to get really up close to see it, and even then, it's not the worst. I will say though, right here in the cracks of my nose, for whatever reason, it looks like pools of grease just accumulating, which is so gross. I'm gonna go ahead and take a couple of blotting sheets and blot. And some of you may be wondering what the point of this is. Oh my God, wow. That's a lot. The reason I blot and show you is because many people like myself throughout the day will blot, and it's really important for me that even though I blot, the foundation is still intact and it doesn't look like splotchy and it's not separating, because I do have foundations that when I blot, even though yes, a little bit does transfer, it doesn't show on my face. Okay, I have to get a new one and do this again to my nose because there's just so much happening in my nose. Like there's so much oil on like my mustache area. Okay, so I have blot and I use 2 sheets and they are full of oil. Around my nose, the foundation did wear off and it's pretty much gone. Around this area, it's still a little bit worn and separated, but it looked like that even before I blotted. So not as much has changed. Same thing with my forehead and my T-zone. It's a little splotchy, but it's not too bad for 12 hours. I think this is the first time that I disagree on a wear test with Nakia Joy. Nakia Joy is like my favorite person to watch for wear tests because she has oily skin just like me, and every single time she doesn't like a product, I end up not liking the product. And also when she loves a product, I go out and buy it and it does not disappoint me. I really thought I wasn't gonna like this because I don't think she liked this foundation, but I think it looks pretty good. So that is it for this wear test. I think it looks really good. A little bit goes a long way. It was very full coverage really quickly. Both the brush and the sponge, it looked really great on me. All my products blended really nicely with the foundation. The only thing that might throw you off is one, the scent. If you really don't like scents, just know that initially there is a scent, but it does go away. But some people, even just having a scent at all will deter them away. So I want to warn you about that. The second thing is the price. I know it is $40. Do I think it's worth $40? If you have the budget for it and you're not like saving and sacrificing something more important to buy this foundation, I would say go ahead if you have oily and acne prone skin. If you don't have the budget for it, I don't think any luxury product is worth it if you don't have the budget for it. I just think the drugstores are really killing it right now with all the products that they're producing. So I always think there's some type of dupe or very similar product out there at a more affordable price. But if you have money to spare and this isn't gonna stress you out, then I would say, yeah, this is a pretty good foundation. So that is it for this review. I hope that it was helpful for you. If it was, don't forget to like this video and feel free to comment down below what other types of videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.